Podtacular episode 373, Matchmaking Overhaul for June 6, 2013. Hello everyone, welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I'm your host, Duststorm.
And I'm your other host, Brent Gamer.
And it is another wonderful day in Halo as we talk about the Bulletin update, which includes, of course, the weapon tuning update that got pushed down earlier this week on Monday, and then, of course, the recently announced Halo Spartan Assault. Now, we did actually have a podcast to talk about Spartan Assault earlier on Tuesday with Halo Fan for Life, and we kind of got our initial thoughts out on what the game was going to be, how we think the stories might go, and kind of the whole discussion on it only being on the Windows 8 platform. So we got most of that talk out of the way. There's a little bit of new information in the bulletin this week, not too much, but aside from just the update that we got about codename Bootcamp from Tuesday, there's lots of different matchmaking update stuff that's going on that is a little bit more than just the weapons. The maps and all the playlists got a big overhaul in terms of new spawns, new weapons, and all that good stuff, and we'll be diving into that pretty soon. But first off, I want to go ahead and talk about our initial impressions of the weapon update. So, Brent, how much Halo have you got to play since the update dropped on Monday?
Quite a bit. Probably not as much as I wanted to play, but I definitely got a feel for all of the big weapon updates. Yeah, the BR's back, baby.
I think everyone is happy about that right now.
Oh man, it's such a great weapon now. I don't know, it feels right. It feels like the BR is supposed to feel. I guess all it really took was a little bit of spread reduction and some damage increase, but I love the new BR. I'm in love, Dustin.
Are you in love?
Yes, if I could marry the BR right now, I would.
Has your love in Halo been renewed somewhat?
Yes, it really has.
Aww. How nice.
I feel like playing Halo now. It's kind of been a chore lately. Not really a chore, but I haven't been having as much fun with it as I usually have. But now I'm definitely getting back in the spirit, getting those 4-shot kills on people. It's just real satisfying. It's a real gratifying Halo experience.
That's good. Whenever I first started playing it on Monday, I actually wasn't doing too hot. I guess I had a string of bad games just going into it. So I was like, oh dang, I hope the weapon update didn't just kill my game, because a lot of the stuff that happened into the game was a lot of magnetism reduction, a lot more kind of adjustments to actually increasing that skill gap between the casual and the competitive side of things. But after waiting a couple hours and getting back on, then I definitely was picking up my game again. I definitely see my gameplay being more of a balance between the BR and the DMR now. I still like the DMR because of that long range scope, just because it's the only weapon with that 3x scope. But the BR, like you said, is just so much more powerful with that 4-shot kill. And then the 2-shot melee on top of that, it feels right.
Right. Looking back, I think I'm wrong about the spread on the BR being decreased. I think it's still the same, but it feels like it's more accurate. Like, I don't know why. I don't know if it's just in my brain or
I think it's just because you're killing people quicker.
Yeah. I really haven't had any problem with the magnetism being decreased. I actually think it helps a little bit, but I'm actually getting some double kills and triple kills with the BR now. So
nice. Well, for me, it was more effective on in terms of how I use the DMR. A lot of the times when I use the DMR, or pretty much any weapon for that fact, even the sniper rifle, I'm kind of a twitch player, so I kind of rely on that magnetism to help me land shots a little bit better as I swipe across things, and now that's kind of taken away from me, so I'm having to line up shots and take my time a little bit more to get those kills, which is not a bad thing. It's just that skill set that I developed with that twitch and learning how to when to fire the trigger on that twitch is now thrown off.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it takes some getting used to, like basically any weapon update, but I don't know, it just feels like classic Halo kind of. Takes me back.
I think a lot of
Uh,
people, at least I've seen quite a few tweets that have said that Halo is back. So it seems like a lot of people are actually very happy with the changes that 343 has made in terms of balancing out these weapons. Of course, there's sort of some of those people, and I think I'm kind of one of those. Is like, is it too late to really save Halo 4 at this point?
yeah, I don't think they're going to get a lot of people back just from this update. Even though
Yeah.
I can definitely see, if you didn't enjoy Halo 4 before, like if you try to get back into it right now, there's a good chance you'll like it. Because
Yes.
it's a lot different now.
Yeah.
If anything, go ahead.
I was gonna say the whole kind of weapon sandbox has been changed. At least from the ones that you use primarily on the ones that you use on your loadouts. The big heavy weapons haven't changed at all, but the ones that you regularly use, that whole game has pretty much changed now.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a whole new ball game. I'm trying to think. The only update that I really don't like that much is the power increase on the assault rifle, and I think it's just because I'm not really using the assault rifle. But people
So
are using it on me.
All the automatic weapons actually have that power kind of upgrade because they all kill in 3 less bullets or projectiles.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if this was just the AR, but it may be all 3. But they also did get that reticle magnetism reduced quite significantly, so they are a little bit more damaging, but you have that risk of like not being able to track people as easily, especially when they're like really close or just out of that kind of mid-range area. That it would still kind of magnetize to people, but you don't really have that anymore.
Yeah. But for me, I mean, the assault rifle's a spray and pray weapon. Like, you aim up for center mass and you just hold the trigger down.
Right.
It's not really a weapon that requires extreme precision. But yeah, it's just kind of annoying when you're running around and having fun with your BR, and then some guy comes up from behind you with an AR and takes you out. But I mean, that's
think
kind of
the
the
AR,
trade-off, though.
yeah, but I think the AR should have that power in close range. I think you hold the AR up to a BR or DMR or light rifle or any of the precision weapons at close range, it should be able to tear through you before the precision weapons even get a chance. That's how
Yeah.
it should be.
Yeah, I understand that completely.
I mean, the Chief's favorite weapon is the assault rifle.
Well, yeah, but just because it's the favorite weapon of the Master Chief doesn't necessarily mean it's the best weapon, or even the most popular weapon amongst
But
the fan
I'm saying
base.
it still should be a powerful weapon, though.
Well, yeah,
Is
but-
what I'm trying to get at.
yeah, I get that. It's really not a big problem though. Everything in this update is pretty fantastic. But yeah, the biggest change I think for most Halo fans is the fact that the BR is now a beast.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's definitely up there now. I'm still finding the light rifle a little bit difficult to use. Carbine, just with how I aim and how I play, it just doesn't fit very well for me. So sticking with the BR and the DMR are kind of my go-to precision weapons right now.
yeah, I haven't really used the DMR very much at all since the update. I guess because I've been having too much fun with the BR, but I need to give it a try again.
I think I'm about half and half. I think and I definitely, it depends on the situation in the maps I'm in. Like if it's close quarter or close range maps like Haven or Drift or Relay or Simplex, then I'll definitely heavily use the BR more. But I have started finding myself switching out I've actually made a separate loadout and have firepower. So I actually have DMR as my primary and BR as my secondary. And I see myself switching the DMR for pickup weapons, like for sniper rifle and rocket launchers. Like I'm holding on to that BR now.
Yeah. I picked up a bolt shot, but I couldn't get a kill with it. So, the bolt shot didn't receive any changes in the update that I know of, but
Well,
I don't know. It's just, it doesn't seem as effective now that the BR is back. Like, it seems like people don't want to bother with kind of close quarters combat if they can avoid it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Trying to think of some other weapon changes. Have you noticed anything with the Warthog? Because they said that
Yes.
something was changing with the Warthog, and then the chain
Yes.
gun was more powerful.
I've definitely seen a change. The chain gun for the Mantis and the Warthog, for those of you who don't know, got 35% damage buff to the projectiles on those things, and it definitely makes those vehicles a little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for?
Efficiently.
No. Striking fear. I can't think of the word. Intimidating. There you go.
Yes, there you go.
That's what I was looking for. Intimidating. So it seems like those vehicles have kind of purpose back into it, because before it was really easy to take out a Warthog and a Mantis if you had a plasma pistol and had people close by to just board and destroy. But now it seems like with those chain guns being buffed a little bit, it's closing that window that people have to use the plasma pistol to zap those vehicles, and especially for the Warthogs, because at least in the games I've played recently, there seems to be a lot of sticking going on for those hogs, more so than the plasma overcharge.
Yep.
And I still think it's fun. I mean, the possibility to take out those vehicles are still there. It's just you have to be a little bit more strategic now, and it's putting those vehicles back on that pedestal a little bit to where they should be, where they should be able to take quite a bit of damage just from regular gunshot, and from the chain gun, it should be a power tool of destruction for the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've definitely seen a difference. I've definitely seen a difference, and I don't think it's a bad thing either.
Right. I mean, if you can buff the vehicles, that's always a good thing. I mean, at least in Halo 4, where it seems like they've kind of they've lost their role as like super power weapons. Like there's power weapons, you got your rockets, your Spartan lasers, stuff like that. But a vehicle always had a different power weapon role.
Yes.
Much more mobile, much more devastating thing in previous Halo games. And in this one, it's just kind of, you can get into a vehicle or not. It doesn't really matter. But now that it's got that damage increase, probably a bit more viable.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they had to increase it if you think about it, because, I mean, basically every other weapon got an increase in damage ultimately. Mm-hmm. So if they didn't increase the damage on the Warthog, it would be at even greater disadvantage.
Right. I want to see the vehicles in Halo 5 kind of come back to their former glory, how they were kind of in Halo 3 and Halo 2, where maybe not quite as much as Halo 2, where you had to have another vehicle in order to destroy a vehicle. I would still say the grenades and the weapons still have a significant impact on the damage of the vehicles, but I would definitely want to see it to where it's not as easy to take them out, and especially with the plasma pistol overcharge. That thing, I see the use in it, but the effect needs to be reduced, or make it to where that overcharge does a significant amount of damage to the vehicle, but doesn't stun it.
Right. Or you just take plasma pistols out of initial loadout.
Yeah, that's the other solution.
Like have giant glowing spots on the vehicles that you can shoot for massive damage.
Yeah. Loadout is one of those things too now where it's been in Halo for 2 games. It's almost to the point where you can't quite take out that feature, but you want to balance the game back to where Halo is fun again like it was before when Bungie was making it. No offense to 343 for the Halo they've made, but seeing from the community feedback, it's not what people are really wanting out of Halo, or expecting for that matter. So then you kind of go back and evaluate what makes Halo that people loved back in Bungie Halo, reincorporate that into Halo 5 and keep their own spices that they added to the mix and put that back into the new soup of Halo.
Right. Really, I just don't see any point in letting people have a plasma pistol to start the match off with. I mean, how does that improve the game whatsoever? If anything, it just takes a big element of your game and ruins it. I mean, namely vehicles and the ability to EMP them. I mean, if you don't have the plasma pistol, you probably have a bolt shot. What's the point of that weapon? Like, it feels cheap when you get killed with it. It feels cheap to get kills with it. It's just pointless. It doesn't improve the game, so I don't see why they feel like having these sidearms that you can choose from. Like, why do they feel it's necessary? Like, they have to have it, like, at any cost.
They're probably kind of compensating for what the rest of the first-person shooter industry is doing, and I mean, we already had the story about them having a very good build for Halo that people were comfortable with and thought it was familiar, and then they dumped it. I doubt they're going to make that mistake again. But it's them trying to attract that, for lack of better words, Call of Duty crowd. Trying to get that general audience back into Halo. And I think while that pushes numbers across the board, it doesn't keep people playing your game. Like, the sales for Halo 4 was definitely outsold Halo Reach, but if you look at the charts now for people actually staying on and playing the game, it sucks compared to Reach. And a lot of people didn't like Reach. And a lot more people now don't like Halo 4. So the longevity of the game has been sacrificed for sales.
Well, trying to make Halo into Call of Duty is like trying to put a square peg through a round hole. I mean, it just doesn't work. I mean, they don't fit together. They're both first-person shooters, and that's where the similarities end. It just doesn't feel like I haven't seen any Call of Duty players say, well, Halo put in, plasma pistols and customizable loadouts, so this is the game I'm going to now.
Right.
The things they enjoy about Call of Duty are things that Halo simply can't copy. Well,
it's a matter of whether or not they should copy it, too.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying they aren't even copying what a lot of people would consider to be the things that you would want to copy about Call of Duty to get that crowd into your game. There's not as much customization as there is in Call of Duty. I mean, even though it's there, it's a very simplistic form of customization. I mean,
well, there's not that many weapons. There's not that many. There's plenty of armor skins, but to be honest, I don't care too much about that. And there's really not that many person skins in Call of Duty. It's mostly weapon skins. It's mostly the amount of weapons and the different mods that you have there. But Halo isn't that kind of game.
Right. But I mean, in that game, in Call of Duty, you get unlocks by playing the game. You do stuff enough times, and then you unlock cool stuff that you can customize your character with. That really doesn't happen in Halo. I mean, once you reach, Spartan rank 50 or whatever, you've unlocked basically all of the unlockables, except for, like, some skins and visors and stuff that you keep getting. Right. I mean, all that stuff's fine, but, Call of Duty player wants to, get a special weapon skin after he gets 1,000 headshots or something. Like, they want a whole bunch of unlocks, and they really didn't do that much of that in Halo. And I mean, that's not what I want out of Halo, but I'm saying if they were trying to get the Call of Duty crowd, they have to understand that the reason that game is popular and it stays popular is because of the customization and ways in which you can basically brag about your skills through your weapon customization and stuff like that. They don't really give you a good way to brag about being an amazing Halo player. You can't even see your CSR.
Well, I mean, to me,
in-game.
To me, well, there is that, but figuring that Halo is pretty much, or it has traditionally been an even platform where you come in with the same weapons and you have the same chance of winning against the other team. It's just a matter of skill. I think Halo is more of a skill-based game than Call of Duty is on most levels. There is the top competitive tier, which is, those guys are quite talented. I did watch the last Call of Duty stream that they had streaming on Xbox, and those guys are good. no doubt about it. But when it comes to the casual level, Halo 4, I feel, is a lot more skill-based. It's driven a lot more around that skill than Call of Duty is.
Right.
And the fact that in Call of Duty you can start out with whatever weapon you want just makes that game unbalanced. And the kill feeds, the kill streaks it's something that should stay in Call of Duty. I understand it. The kill streaks make sense for Call of Duty, but it's not something that you pull in Halo. I mean, that hasn't specifically been pulled in Halo yet, but those kind of things you don't pull in. The things like the unlimited sprint, the ability to pick up grenades, the armor mods in Halo. There's no reason for that to be in Halo. None whatsoever. Halo's never been about that traditionally, and there's no reason to make it like that now and have it to where the game experience is so different where it's not really a balanced playing field anymore. You have people that have certain advantages over other people because of these armor mods, and I find having a custom primary weapon is an exception to that because you're basically tailoring your own experience to it, and everyone can pretty much pick their primary weapon that suits their playstyle best and giving them the best chances. But when it comes to the armor mods, you're choosing one feature in sacrifice of another.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. If we see kill streaks in Halo 5, do you think there'd be a backlash from the community?
yeah, I would think so. It might not be like the Halo killer, but it would definitely contribute.
Because I guess
we already I guess we kind of already have that though, because we have Ordnance.
Yeah, but I mean like a real like something intangible in game, like not intangibles. It's just like something that isn't a weapon drop. Like some sort of
like having like
orbital bombardment or
broadswords come in and I mean, they could probably find a way to put that in the game, but I think if they were to do that, it would not be Halo anymore. I mean, Halo 4 in some aspects is it's stretching it, calling it a Halo game. I mean, yeah, you have Spartans in there, you have the same class of weapons, the same vehicles and all that stuff, but when it comes down to the gameplay aspect, the elements that make up the experience of Halo 4 matchmaking and multiplayer, it doesn't quite feel like traditional Halo, like Bungie Halo.
Yeah. I don't think it's ever going to feel like Bungie Halo ever again.
Well, no,
I mean,
it
I
won't,
understand
but take that one build that they had that they said they wiped out. Like, bring that kind of stuff back. Bring the familiarity back. It doesn't have to be like specifically Bungie Halo, but it needs to feel right to people.
Yeah.
And I think this update, coming back around to what we were initially talking about, I think this weapon tuning update is a move in the right direction, but it's been more than 6 months since the game's come out. It's been almost 8 months now, and they're just now getting around to it. I keep on saying this is that one strike that 343 has before they strike out. This is their one forgiveness, I think, that they have, that people are willing to let 343 go by with. And if they mess up Halo 5, it's done. They'll make Halo 6, they'll finish out the trilogy, but if they don't nail it with Halo 5, the game, as popular as it is not gonna survive.
If they don't make it with Halo Spartan Assault, the franchise will not survive.
I'm not going to hold them to that, but
if it comes out and it doesn't sell, 100 million copies, it will have failed. I mean, do you understand
I don't even think there's that many Windows 8 platforms out there.
That's what I'm saying. This is important to Microsoft, like the entire company. It's not even the Xbox division anymore.
It really pisses me off.
Microsoft's entire future is on the line here, really.
It really pisses me off that they're using Halo again to promote a just bad OS.
Well, Windows 8 is the only operating system powerful enough for Halo Spartan Assault, Dustin.
No,
Windows
7
Windows
is
8. I mean,
the power behind playing a game is dependent on hardware, not software.
No, it's dependent. I mean, you remember Halo Vista or Halo 2 Vista?
Yeah, Halo 2 Vista. Gosh, that was.
I mean, it really, at the time, Windows Vista was the only system capable of running Halo 2.
No, it wasn't.
It's true.
Uh, yeah, I really dislike this whole PR push for their OS that's not doing well. And I've actually, I haven't read this specifically for myself, but I have heard from respectable people that the adoption rate for Windows 8 is less than that was for Halo with Vista. So, and with SP1, they're actually bringing back the start button. So that just shows you how much their whatever market testing that they did was off by a long shot.
Well, think about it. The start button is kind of like their Red X. Like, they took it out for no reason, and now they're like, yep, just to show you that we're listening to you guys, we're bringing it back.
Yeah, but while it is nice to see that they're listening, this shouldn't have to be an afterthought.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing about the Red X and Halo 4. Like, when you die, there needs to be an X over your name. Like,
yeah,
that's just a Halo thing. I mean, every game has Jeff Steitzer in it. Like, it would be like having Halo multiplayer without Jeff Steitzer. I mean, but even that would be that might be cool, you know? I mean, it's always cool to change it up. But it would I mean, I don't know who I'd get if you couldn't have Jeff Steitzer to narrate.
For the longest time, I thought Steve Downs was actually the multiplayer announcer in Halo 1.
Oh, yeah, I thought that too. That's a
get him to do it.
Misconception.
I guess, quick question before we move on. Move back to the bulletin. Do you like the style of how Steitzer did it for the Bungie games, how he did the announcement there, or do you like it with the new one, with Halo 4? Because I find I like it a little bit more. Like, I like some of the ones from Halo 4, but I like them more, like the double kill, the killing spree ones from Halo 3 and Halo Reach better. Personally.
I like subdued Steitzer. I don't like just crazy, like, methed
so you like
out
you like the Bungie ones?
Yeah, but even Reach kind of. I mean, Halo 3 was kind of like that. I don't remember Reach that well as far as what he sounded like there, but I don't know. In Halo 4, he's just too crazy. It sounds like he's way too excited. Like, I just prefer kind of like deadpan, like unexcitable Steitzer. Like, he's so cool that even all of these cool explosions and gunplay that's going around, like, he's totally cool about it.
Yeah, I like that one as well. I like the older style of how they did the announcer voice than the new one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's kind of get back on topic with the bulletin. So they have a few excerpts here from Frankie talking about Spartan Assault, or codename Boot Camp. So there's a few screenshots up here. There's actually a couple videos released, I believe on Halo Tracker, that we talked about on Tuesday that actually showed some gameplay going on. And I was hoping in this bulletin there may have been something to at least show how you moved around, because it seems like from the control scheme that you would touch a position to fire or throw a grenade or something like that, but movement still does not seem very obvious out there. So they're pretty much or what Frankie's talking about is just kind of how they concepted the idea, what they were kind of going for when they envisioned Spartan Assault, kind of harkening back to the Vanguard game, if you guys know how that kind of older style shooter game works. So just kind of going back to those things. But other than that, there's not much more information that they gave us other than what we saw on Tuesday. So again, it's a top-down action shooter for Windows 8 platforms, only coming in July.
Yeah.
There's some pretty cool screenshots here too, which I'm probably going to add to my background notation.
Yes, some cool wallpaper.
Mm-hmm.
I especially like that first wallpaper image.
The one with the waterfall and something that looks like a twister in the background.
Yeah, it's like a crazy rainbow waterfall with a twister in the background, like you said. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I remember playing Robotron on Xbox Live Arcade, kind of an older game, one of the first dual stick shooters.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that they kind of base the controls on that Robotron screen, or kind of you move with the left stick and shoot with the right stick. I don't know if that's how it is here, but
well, you
that's
don't really
kind of
have
how I
sticks.
envisioned it.
Well,
that's the
I guess you
thing
do on the
is-
PC. There was apparently an article somewhere, and we talked about this Tuesday again, where you will be able to use the controller, the 360 controller, in an update on the PC versions. So you'll have the joysticks there, but when it comes to the tablets and the phones, the best thing I could come up with was that the tilts, using the accelerometer in phones and tablets to generate that movement.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's my best guess.
Does this sound like the Halo game you wanted on a mobile device? I mean, I'm not saying that like sarcastically or rhetorically. Like,
No.
it's a
I know.
legitimate question. Like,
I think a first-person shooter definitely would not work.
yeah,
I think everyone would have liked to see like a Halo Wars 2 kind of thing. I think that would work well on tablets and phones and PCs. It already has a good install base with Age of Empires and Command & Conquer and all those other strategy games on PC. So it would work very well on there if they did a Halo Wars 2 type thing. And I think for mobile devices, or at least tablets, the ability to kind of tap everywhere and then just have like menus on the edge of the screens would kind of suffice there. The fact that this is single player, though, I guess thinking about the different possibilities that they could have done for a game, this one's okay with me. Could you think of any other kind of game that you would want in here?
yes.
Okay, shoot.
Japanese dating simulator.
Here we go.
JRPG style dating simulator. With the Spartan 4 program at the heart of it. You're dating different Spartans.
So what, like all the big names that we saw from Spartan Ops?
No, new characters. All new
Oh.
characters. Brand new recruits. You get into these combat scenarios and you earn romance points that you can spend back on the Infinity for armor mods. I don't know.
Oh boy, I was not expecting that. It's been a while since you threw one of those out there.
I'm just saying, I mean, if you'll put this out on a tablet, I can guarantee a Halo dating simulator would do as well, if not better, because people wouldn't be expecting it. It would just come out like zero marketing at first, and then just like on that first day of release, they just let all the marketing out.
Pins Halo is
Like,
wondering
this is it.
Pins Halo is wondering if you're sure you were drinking Pepsi and not something else.
No.
You sure it wasn't sake?
No. That would
Sake
be all
spiked
right.
Pepsi?
I don't know. That'd be kind of odd tasting.
I've never had sake, so I don't know what it tastes like.
Me neither, but anything in Pepsi is kind of a bad decision. Generally, Coke is used instead when mixing cocktails.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a dual stick shooter. I think maybe that's my understanding of it. It seems like they kind of wanted to make a Halo Wars 2, and then decided that it would just be easier to go with kind of a dual stick shooter approach. I'm not sure. How much do you think they're going to charge for this?
Oh, they already
10
said
bucks,
$7.
15? Oh, $7?
Yeah, they already said $7.
okay.
Or
So,
$6.99. I'm sorry. Technically $6.99.
yes.
Essentially $7.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, Halo is a social experience. Halo is best played with friends. Even the canon stuff, like the best part of knowing about the Halo canon is being able to talk about it with other people who are interested in the canon. I mean, that's why having Halo Fan for Life on is always a great time.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you don't have that social experience here. It's completely single player.
Yeah, that's the other thing about this I'm kind of hesitant about, because it's going to be one of those games where you maybe play the campaign 2 or 3 times, and actually there's supposed to be unlocks associated with this. So depending on what you do in Halo 4, could unlock some stuff in this game, and then what you could do this game can unlock stuff in Halo 4, like probably skins and something like that.
Yeah.
So I feel that people are going to download this game for those that have the platform to play it on. They're going to go for the achievements. They're going to play the campaign story maybe 1, 2, or 3 times. Go for all the unlocks and then probably put it away.
Yeah. It really is going to be a Halo afterthought.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Like,
I mean, ODST was kind of like that, although it did have the firefight aspect. And personally, I think the storyline for ODST is probably one of the coolest ones in the Halo universe so far. And we may get a good storyline out of this one, but the fact that they're restricting it to Windows 8 is just a bad move, I think.
Oh, but I mean, even in ODST, that was a co-op experience. You could play that
too,
campaign co-op.
Yeah.
One of my favorite experiences was playing that last level of ODST, Mythic, all skulls on. It was good times.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah.
Okay. Enough about Spartan Assault. Let's get on to some matchmaking stuff. So we already talked about the weapon update a little bit earlier, and we talked about it for the last 2 months. So of course we'll leave that to the wayside for now. But there have been some significant changes to the maps in pretty much all the playlists now. They've gone through, redone all the ordnance drops, all the spawns, and there's quite a list here. So I'm just gonna go through these pretty much because they're all pretty significant, at least in terms of gameplay, from what I've been able to play the few hours I've played Halo since the update. So, we can just alternate these, Brent. So I'll start with Abandon. So these are just kind of placements for everything on these maps that they're going to be talking about. The sniper rifle on Abandon is moved above Gold Lift now. There's another sniper rifle moved to Red Spawn near Back Cliff, which is near the beach. So there's a sniper rifle now on each side. There's an overshield placed on the first floor of the center structure, equidistant from both team spawns. Red flag is moved now to the bottom of Gold Lift instead of where it was on the top Gold Lift, and the blue flag is moved back closer to the back cliff. So it was kind of out there in the middle, right in front of that drop down. It's now been moved back further towards the cliff.
Right.
Yep.
On Adrift, overshield placed in the center of a map below the Manus. Twin sniper rifles.
That's instead of the sword, by the way.
Right. Twin sniper rifles placed on the corners of the map. Needlers replaced the frags in the center room in the corners, and cover and line of sight adjusted in the top hallways to help attackers in objective modes. So
they actually put up, it wasn't crates, but little kind of wall things to give a little bit more cover. Yep. So those are just some tiny changes that they have to those upper hallways. I don't see them as too much of a change, at least from what I played on the drift so far, because I can still chuck nades up there and get significant damage on most people, but that's just me. Complex. The spawns have been moved further apart in the proper bases. The flags have been moved to their respective bases, so they're actually inside the bases now instead of outside the bases. I believe that's how it is. I haven't played CTF yet on Complex, but I believe that's what that is.
Yeah, they're
the red
in
team
bases now.
Okay. The red team sniper rifle is moved to the second floor of their base. So the red team is the one that's closer to the cliff side, furthest away from that center structure, kind of with that the big fence in the back. And then the rocket launcher is replaced. The rocket launcher has replaced the sword in the courtyard.
Sounds good. I like that rocket launcher there instead of the sword.
I do too.
Not a whole lot of use for the sword on Complex, but on Exile, managed to replace Scorpion and placed equidistant from both team spawns. The Spartan laser spawns in the center cave. The railgun has replaced the saw in front of each team spawn, and they removed the Gauss Warthog and replaced it with rocket hogs for each team. Which one do you like better, Gauss or rocket hog?
I personally like the Gauss Hog.
Yeah.
But because of how powerful that Gauss Hog was on Exile, it's probably a good thing that they replaced it with the Rocket Hog.
Gauss kills are so satisfying, though.
I know.
I don't know.
There's so much because it's just getting that kill on them, and there's actually an update where they reduced the magnetism on that thing, so it wouldn't be like it took a little bit more effort to get the kill with the Gauss, but it is so sad. Like just like the railgun for me, I love the railgun, and getting a kill with that is just so satisfying. And the same thing is with the Gauss Hog.
Yeah, I don't know. The Rocket Hog is just kind of, you don't feel that sense of satisfaction because generally you like fire off an entire volley of rockets, and I don't know. You kind of knew you were going to get the kill. Mm-hmm. There isn't a lot of skill involved.
Right. Go ahead and do the next one since it's the same map.
All right. Exile, CTF. Team spawns and flags push back to their respective bases. The sticky detonator spawns in the Banshee hangar. No Banshee. No Team Warthogs.
Yay, no Banshee.
Yay.
That's a good thing. No Banshee.
Yes, I know. No Banshee is always a good thing. No Team Warthogs, like I said, so too bad. Gauss Warthog spawns in the center of the map and is flipped onto its side. Okay, so...
You have to flip it before you get in.
Yeah, that's weird. I guess kind of a balancing decision.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Probably with how the map is designed, they may not be able to get a true center on it, so they probably have it flipped so that both teams have a little bit more of a chance of getting in there, would be my guess.
The saw placed in front of each team spawn, and the battle rifle spawns in the cave by the Scorpion Bay.
Yeah, so they took out the Scorpion.
Yep.
So
too much fun.
I personally didn't mind it in there too much. It was taken out pretty easily most of the time. There were cases where I was definitely on the bad end of it, but I didn't think... I miss seeing the tank in maps. And this was one of the only maps that had it now. And I don't think there's any map in Halo 4 now in Matchmaking that has the tank. I mean, I know there were very few in Halo 3 and there were very few in Reach, but there were like those 2 or 3 maps that did have them. So yeah. I just... I wish they would bring back the former glory of the vehicles in Halo. Someone said,
I'm thinking about it. It's sad.
Someone said, "Where's the sniper hog for the skilled gamer?" in the chat.
That'd be all right.
A sniper hog?
Yeah, it'd be an odd-looking turret.
You might as well just go into your pass. It would be nice that if you were in the passenger seat, that the zoom still worked on your weapons.
Yeah.
Like even though you're bouncing around and everything, if the zoom still worked and if you could use it, that would be really, really cool. Next one is Haven. Lots of good changes on here. Rotated team spawns 90 degrees to oppose each other on the opposite axis found currently in Matchmaking. So instead of one team spawning down on the open side and one person spawning on close side, they now spawn on either sides. So the map is cut symmetrically between the two teams, which is nice. Sword spawns in the upper center. Concussion rifle spawns next to closed ramp. Sniper rifle spawns next to open ramp. Lifts moved to the drop downs to allow more flow to the upper level. Colored lighting to distinguish player and map orientation, and then miscellaneous grenades placed around the map. So I definitely have seen those increase of grenades, which has been nice.
Everybody loves grenades.
Mm-hmm.
When it's part of the golden triangle. I always felt like now that you can only have 2 grenades each, they just don't seem as important as they used to be.
And that you have to have that mod in order to pick up the grenades too. That's one of the other things.
A scavenger or whatever.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I can't pick these grenades up even though I can see them. Landfall. Move spawns and flags to opposite corners of the map. The blue flag is in the lift room and the red flag is by the dock. And shotgun, sniper rifle, and overshield spawn at the start. Yeah, I like shotguns. You want me to go ahead and do longbow?
Yeah, that was short. Go ahead and do it.
Longbow, Gauss Hog, and Banshee added at each team spawn. 4 shade turrets placed at the center fort on the ridge. Overshield added in center cave.
Really? Shade turrets?
Yes, shades.
I haven't played longbow since the update, so...
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Overshield added in center cave, and beam rifle and rocket launcher placed at each team spawn.
Awesome. Okay, Meltdown. The fuel rod cannon has replaced the incineration cannon at each team spawn. The Gauss Hog has been added to each team spawn as well. Plasma cannon turrets have been placed inside each side bunker. And scatter shot added to each side bunker. For Meltdown CTF, the Mantis has been added in the center of the map that's under the bridge. Battle rifles have been added to the top of the side bunkers. And then the plasma cannon turrets have been added in the side bunkers as well.
So a lot of plasma cannon turrets just all over Meltdown now.
The Gauss Hog in Meltdown was a good addition in my opinion.
Yeah.
I've played Meltdown quite a few times on Slayer so far, and it's been a lot of fun having those Gauss Hogs in there.
Meltdown is like one of the very few maps in Halo 4 that I feel kind of give vehicles a real chance to shine.
Yeah, and
the way they used to.
it doesn't seem like a lot of people really enjoy playing Meltdown either, unless you like playing big team.
Yeah. Ragnarok, Rocket Hog added to the vehicle set. So Rocket Hogs on Ragnarok.
Yeah, they spawn in place of the chain gun hogs.
Yeah, I think one is the Rocket Hog and one is the chain gun.
I can't remember if both of them spawn there or if one replaced it. I guess both of them do spawn there.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Then Ragnarok CTF, 2 saws at each team spawn, and the railgun is placed in the field opposite the Pelican crash site. So over in the kind of that open plateau.
Right.
Yep. You'll find a railgun there. Dusty's favorite weapon.
Yes, my favorite weapon. I love that thing. Solace. Remove the incineration cannon from the lower center. Thank you. The sword now appears alone at the lower center. So it's no longer sword and incineration cannon. It's just a sword. And then the fuel rod cannon spawns on the side of the map equidistant from team spawns.
Cool. I feel like the fuel rod cannon is probably...
It's better for this map instead of the incineration cannon. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get a lot more kills with the fuel rod than I can the incineration cannon, just based on the number of rounds you get and the just general damage on that thing.
The fuel rod is also a little bit better balanced for this map as well.
Yeah.
Over the incineration cannon.
On Vortex, Gauss Hog and Manus added at each team spawn, and the Banshee added low center equidistant from team spawns. So, yeah. Vehicles added.
Yep. Cool. It needed vehicles too, because the only ones on there were mostly Ghosts, Wraith, and a couple chain gun hogs, maybe a rocket hog or two, but having the Gauss Hog and the Mantis added in there is really good in my opinion.
Yep.
Alright, so that's kind of been the big update to matchmaking other than the weapons that we had earlier. From the maps I've played so far and what I've played in Halo 4, all these changes have been good changes in my opinion. The game feels new and fresh with how these maps are differently laid out now and with the different weapons. So I think having the change here was really, really good. So as far as the rest of the bulletin goes, they did have their community playdate on Monday. So we had Quinn DeHoyo, we had BS Angel, which is Cachet, we had Bravo or Andy Dudusky, and Dees, who I don't actually know his name, but it's Laskin is his last name. But all 4 of them went into matchmaking on Monday, and they decided to post their stats and their game types up on the bulletin. And in the first game, BS Angel actually has a CSR of 9001 with pink misty effect on the background. So I thought that was it was kind of funny. I think there was actually a Twitter joke going on about that before they posted the bulletin, and that's why they made the change in here.
Yeah.
But if you want to see it, it's on the bulletin. So go check it out. Let's see. I believe they said that they were pretty much undefeated all night. Or at least the first few games. I'm looking through their score now as I can't I'm guessing, let's see, first one I think they won, second one I believe they won, third one they actually lost. So they lost their third one, and then I guess their last one they won as well. So they have those there if you want to look at them. Last thing is the screenshots, and the theme this week is blue. Some of them are okay. There's a few good ones here. There's definitely been better sets in my opinion.
Yeah, just a lot of kind of mediocre, uninteresting, kind of, I don't know, like Regicide. I really don't like that one.
My
Dazzle,
personal favorites, or the ones I like, are Frostbite, Universal, and Frozen and Forgotten. Those are kind of the three top ones that I like on that set.
I like Leaves of Halcyon, Blue Lotus, or Lotus, and Universal. Reclaimed Halo's like, has he been on every single
Yes,
screenshot
I
set
think so.
up to this point?
He makes really good ones.
Yeah.
But Frozen and Forgotten is done by David J. Cobb, who's I've talked with quite a bit at conventions. He's a cool dude. But yeah, back to your point, Reclaimed Halo I think has had a screenshot in every one of these sets, and he's just he's good. He makes good screenshots. He knows how to stage them and knows how to do them well.
Yeah. So
yeah. So I guess we'll use Universal.
Wait,
yeah,
no,
use...
it's going to be traffic cones. So expect traffic cones in the next one.
Traffic cones. All right. Is there any matchmaking stuff out there that's traffic cones? Matchmaking maps out there that have traffic cones in them? I guess. What's the city one that's new one? Yeah, Perdition. I guess Perdition would have some traffic cones in it.
Getting a kill with the traffic cone's always fun.
The Pit from Halo 3.
Yes.
I remember when that first video blew up of the first person that got a kill with the cone. That the Halo community blew up on that thing too.
Oh yeah.
And then it became a natural phenomenon.
Well, it's just the idea of a traffic cone killing a Spartan, you know?
Yeah.
It's just absurd.
It's funny. It's just like Spartans can't swim. Spartans can't take traffic cones. Oh, goodness. All right, well, that concludes Yeah, don't tell them that secret. That pretty much wraps up the bulletin for this week. We had no submissions, and sorry, but I forgot to put the question of the week out on Monday like I said I was going to. So, I did a last-minute tweet out about it and Facebook post. So we got 2 quick replies for the question of the week, which was, what is your favorite thing about the weapon tuning update? So Brent and I talked about it already. We had a couple of replies. First one comes from Blue M Cat, and she says, definitely the BR buff. I love that weapon, but not very good at using it. So I think a lot of the competitive players really like that the BR has been brought back.
Oh yeah. I'm not competitive and I like it. I mean, it just feels right. It feels, beastly like the BR should.
Mm-hmm.
Back when going beast meant something.
Beast mode!
It's back. Raman Sanchez writes in and says, the carbine buff. Before I never used the carbine at all. With the update, I find myself using it on smaller maps.
Personally, for me, carbine's still something I don't quite use.
I haven't tried it yet. I'm not going to lie. I probably should have before I came and recorded, but I'm just having too much fun with the BR. I mean...
There's nothing wrong with that. For me, the carbine, when I have tried to use it, the fire rate for me is just too fast for me to... Because I'm one of those people, like, if I shoot, I'm not usually moving my reticle unless I'm twitching or flinching it. Yeah. So having that constant do while trying to aim, just I can't quite multitask like that.
You can get one of those Mad Catz controllers with the turbo button on it.
There's actually an ad for a Razer controller on the dashboard.
Does it have a turbo button?
They have programmable buttons on the top, so yeah, they kind of do.
All right.
I found it weird that Microsoft was advertising it.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look at the ad, but there were 2 extra buttons that I don't know if it was specifically macro enabled, but you could assign stuff to them in some way. Let's see. we got a submission from voicemails. We have 2 of them, but we'll get to those in a second. But first, donations. We actually got a donation from someone who wants us to refer to him as Bobby B444. So he was kind enough to donate $10 to us, and he left this little note with his donation. It's not much, but I enjoy listening to your podcast, and while I actually had a little something to spare, I wanted to show my appreciation. If at some point in the future you decide to do shoutouts for a bunch of donators, you can just refer to me as Bobby B444. Keep up the great work, and hopefully I think of something to submit for you to read on an episode sometimes. Ha ha ha. So, thank you, Bobby, for sending in your donation. Everything is appreciated, and we definitely appreciate your donation. No matter how big or how small, folks, we are just really supportive, or really appreciate the support you give us just from listening and spreading us around. But if you do feel that you want to help out with our hosting and producing of the show, then definitely check out our homepage. We have a PayPal donate button there, which you can use to donate to the show. So,
yes, thank you, Bobby.
Thank you very much for your generosity. We appreciate it. All right, on to the voicemails. We have 2 of those this week, and we'll go ahead and play those now.
Voicemail.
Hey, Podtacular. I'm loving the show you guys do. You do a great job. And you go in real depth. You bring up a lot of great points. And I hope you guys keep up the good work. My gamer tag is Bamflo, just like it's spelled, 2 F's on the end. I'm going to leave you guys with a question. Would you rather be Master Chief for the rest of your life or be an AI like Cortana? Take care, guys. Keep up the good work.
I want to say I've seen that question somewhere before.
Yeah.
Being Master Chief or Cortana. I don't know why that seems so familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why that seems so familiar. But definitely Master Chief. I don't think I would want to be an AI. Because as a Spartan, you get to go on fighting, you get to blow stuff up. As an AI, yeah, you can like command ships and all that stuff, but you go rampant after 7 years.
But man, those 7 years are a crazy wild ride.
It's true. You get to learn
Best 7 years of your short life.
I'd rather be a Spartan and have an AI accompanying me than being an AI accompanying a Spartan and controlling a ship and all that stuff.
Well, it could be like Marathon, and you could become like omnipotent, like Durandal.
Maybe.
Like he went rampant. It didn't kill him; it just made him nuts.
All right, I haven't played Marathon, so sorry.
I just know that I played it, didn't really get into it, but I know just a tiny, like just the smallest bit of that story. It kind of ties into Halo a little bit, even though they've made it clear that those universes are completely separate. But there's a lot of little things that tie in between the 2 series. Especially the AI kind of thing, the idea of rampancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People in the stream said we definitely did have that question a few weeks ago. So we're not the only people thinking that was something that came up. I almost say we had it as a question of the week as well. And I mean, I don't remember the stuff that I talk about on the last show, folks. So I mean, I know the general topics, but I don't remember specifically what was said. But I do think that was on a previous show, and that may have been a question of the week for a former podcast. But so that was our first mail. Thanks for sending that one in, and go ahead and get on with our second one.
Hey, it's Game Dude 03. I just got finished listening to the Xbox podcast, and with the news of the Halo television series, with what I thought that would be interesting if they did were a storyline in between Halo 4 or 5, which would seem most likely, but then also connect to Spartan Assault, where the next season you would have stuff related to the television series, and then so on with Spartan Assault, then going into Halo 5 and, back and forth and everything. And just like that thought right there, but also like one of the other things Actually, I just lost it. I was thinking about it, but I lost it. So just, yeah. Keep on fragging trucks, yada. I really wish I hadn't forgotten anything. Blind warthog driver.
Okay. So that was Game Dude. He's not in the chat tonight, unfortunately. He may have been able to fill in what he forgot. But as far as talking about what we could do for the TV show, I think we talked about this in pretty good depth when we had our Xbox reveal roundtable, when we had those 16 people.
Oh, yeah.
So we definitely theorized a bit on what it could be. Taking into account now that we have Halo Spartan Assault out, and how that's supposed to be kind of a bridge between Halo 3 and 4, at least from the side of the Spartan 4s, and specifically Spartan Palmer and the new Spartan Davis. I think for the TV series, that's definitely been knocked out as a possibility, that it's not going to be anything that's in between Halo 3 and Halo 4 anymore. Maybe a tie to Halo 4 and Halo 5. Even though they said they're not currently working on a Spartan Ops Season 2, I don't necessarily see them not working on it, possibly. So maybe there's a lot of different things that they could do with this TV series. I think it's going to be more kind of recent timeline, if not current timeline, of Halo than it would be in the past of Halo or in the too far future.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't be relevant enough for a TV show audience unless it was directly involved around the timeline of Halo 4 or shortly thereafter. My personal opinion.
It should be about the didact. Like, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this joke. Now that I think about it, like anything about the didact, just it's unfunny, and it would not be good. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, that pretty much wraps up our podcast for tonight. I want to thank the couple of voicemails that we had, and again, thank you to Bobby B444 or B444 for the donation. I really appreciate the support that you guys are giving us, and I'll try to remember the question of the week for the next time, guys. The question for this week: when you get your hands on Halo 4 Spartan Assault, will the first character you play be Spartan Palmer or Spartan Davis, and why? So that's going to be our question of the week for next week.
I know my answer.
Yeah, I think I know most people's answer, but I just want to see kind of the ratio of responses that we get for this one.
Well, you know who my favorite Halo 4 character is. She might be my favorite Halo character of all time. Probably, actually. I mean...
What, not Master Chief?
No. Like, you could totally, like, I wish they would go back in and retcon the Master Chief out and just replace Sarah Palmer. Like, some sort of weird alternate universe where John didn't become Spartan 117, and she did instead.
Uh-huh.
Like a strange alternate timeline.
Okay.
Oh, man, that'd be great. And just the whole time she calls Cortana Egghead.
She calls Cortana Egghead?
Yes, like the entire time. And it would be super ironic because Cortana's in her head.
Ooh.
Well, kind of in her head.
How ironic.
Oh, man. I'm like, I don't understand why people hate Sarah Palmer so much. Like, I understand that she's not super interesting and that they didn't flesh that character out very well. And she says Egghead way too much, and she's kind of traitorous in a way, but not really. I mean, if you think about it, she's less traitorous than Halsey. She was just following orders. She's just kind of, I don't know, I think the more people see of Palmer, the more they'll like her. Assuming that they write her right.
Well, I think for Halsey, it's definitely more that she's trying to push ahead humanity, not necessarily... I mean, she's not necessarily thinking about how it affects the UNSC per se, but I think she does have that interest that's a little bit more in humanity than it is the UNSC's interest, which is why it seems like she comes off as a bad person, but I don't think at heart she really is.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
I don't think she's a bad person. I think Halsey is a sociopath and a megalomaniac. She just wants to know everything. Like, she really doesn't care about humanity. Like, if humanity was completely dead and, like, she knew everything in the universe, that'd be completely fine with her. Like, I don't think she's a bad character, but I think that the whole point that they're trying to get across with Halsey is that she is flawed. Like, her pursuit of knowledge is disastrous in some cases. Maybe.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with Halo 5 or Spartan Ops Season 2.
Now
Okay.
people are saying that they're not even going to have a Spartan Ops Season 2. Like, it
Well,
didn't
they're
perform
not
well enough.
They're not working on it right now, according to what 343 has said. But that doesn't mean that they won't possibly look at it. Because a lot of people actually enjoyed the second half of Spartan Ops. A lot more so than the first half, I believe.
Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying it didn't perform successfully enough at all. Like, it didn't reach the numbers that they needed to reach to justify putting money into the budget for that specific part of the game.
Possibly.
Like, I want a Spartan Ops Season 2. I love SPOPs. That's probably my favorite mode in Halo 4, ironically. Until now. I mean, now that the BR update's out, matchmaking's pretty great, but...
Right.
I like the idea of Spartan Ops. I want to see how they can improve, or how they will improve.
Yeah, they'll
you could
definitely
even charge for it. Like, I would totally expect to, have to pay for it. It's not like you have to give it to, just put it out as like $15 DLC.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Anywho, I think that wraps up the show for tonight, guys. We had quite a big turnout on the stream tonight compared to some other ones, so I appreciate you guys coming out. Would really like to see those numbers increase, so definitely, if you're listening to this, just know that we do this on Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So come out, join the fun. We have the chats going on. We've had quite a few interesting little tidbits of side conversation going on in here, talking about Xbox, talking about some of the story, talking about the weapons. So definitely come join the stream if you have the chance. It's on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when we do our regular shows. We do special ones every now and then, and we post those on Twitter and Facebook when we decide to go ahead and do those as well. We will, and I'm saying this for a fact this time, we will be having our 11th episode of our Spartan Ops mini-series next week on Tuesday. We are going to have it then. There's no more ifs about it. I have one chapter left to read. I'm going to finish reading it this weekend, and we will have that episode on Tuesday of this week. So time is still to be determined. It'll probably be 7:30 or 8 Eastern, but it will be done on Tuesday. Next Thursday, during our regular show, we will probably talk about the Bulletin update, of course, but we're also going to have the folks from Beyond Entertainment on as well, because they have their website finally up and running, and we're big supporters of them over there, and they support us in a lot of stuff that we do, so we're going to give them some cross-promotion and help them unveil their site, which just went online this week. So if you haven't heard of them yet, they're kind of out there kind of as a media conglomerate for Halo content. They have different shows covering strategies for Halo. They have top 10. They have overviews of certain aspects of Halo and a lot of good different things over there. So definitely check them out. They're Go Beyond ENT on Twitter and on YouTube. And we'll talk about their newly unveiled website next week when they're on the show.
Yay.
Yay. So with that said, thank you everyone for listening. Be sure that you check out our website, podtacular.com, and while you're there, make sure you send us a submission. There's a green submission button on the homepage on the top right that you can use to send us anything that's Halo related, whether it's a question on any of the content that we talk about, whether it's a funny story that you have in Halo, whether you have created a custom map or anything like that. Feel free to send it to us using that big green button, or send us an email directly to submissions@podtacular.com, or like the voicemails that you heard tonight, you can call into that at 240-200-HALO. That's 240-200-42 4256 and leave a Halo-related message there. Make sure that you also check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We have our regular game nights that we do every now and then for Monday Night Matchmaking. We haven't done it in a little while. We didn't do it this week because 343 had their own live stream. We will not be doing it next week either because of some E3 coverage that we may be doing. We may be doing a impromptu podcast based on the Xbox press conference. So we will not be doing the replacement Monday Night Matchmaking I thought we would be doing on Monday, but I think we're doing that big roundtable-like discussion on Monday because I believe that's when the Xbox press conference is. I have to double-check, but I believe that's when it is, and if it's then, we're doing it that night. So definitely make sure you check out the roundtable for that. We're gonna try to have some of the similar people that we had on our last one during the Xbox reveal to be back on doing roundtable stuff again. So make sure you tune in for that. On top of that, for the game nights, we will be doing Wacky Wednesday again next week, and that will be on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure that you check us out there. Come join us for some fun customs, and we're starting to incorporate some serious game types in there. We have a lot of good custom stuff, but we've kind of grown old and tired of some of those, so we're going to start to rotate some of those out. Pete the Duck was on last week to actually show off some new content. So we're going to pull some of that new stuff in as well, and I'm starting to search for new content as well. So Wacky Wednesday is going to get a new fresh look, so make sure you check it out if you haven't already. And that pretty much wraps up this show. One last thing in terms of updates for the Halo Council, which is a special project that I have been working on with a friend, Jack Fire, that you guys probably have heard of and I have talked about quite a few times already. But the registration for that has closed. It closed on Friday, and now we have applications open for testers. So we definitely need some people to help test out maps. We have 16 different challenge maps that are going to be used to film and be used in the competition aspect of this series. And we need help to test out bugs, to make sure that all the maps work as expected and all that good stuff. So if you're interested, definitely head on over to thehalomall.com/apply/testing and fill out your testing application there. We do ask that if you apply to be a tester that you have not applied to be a contestant of the Halo Mole, and that if you do participate in the testing, you are sworn to not tell anybody about what you've seen.
Yep. It's just like being an aperture science test subject.
Exactly. So that wraps it up for this episode. Thank you guys again very much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.
Keep on fragging Windows 8.